Welcome to the first episode of Just Another Lens. I'm delighted that joining me today on this first episode is a three-time serial entrepreneur who's grown multi-billion dollar businesses across the world, a leader who inspires his people by walking the talk, but also a man who's on his own spiritual journey, a journey of self-discovery and growth. Joining me today is the CEO and founder of Shebang, Harshil Karia. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I want to try and sort of talk about Harshil, the entrepreneur, and that journey. But also I'd like to get inside Harshil in a deeper way. I know you have interests in music. You're an artist in your own right now. And spirituality and wellness. So I guess let's start off with these a bit, on the surface at least, the entrepreneurial journey. So going back to your early days, your formative years, Harshil, tell us about that. What were the key moments in that journey?
My early days, I would say, I think early days we always have to share a lot of gratitude towards parents. So my significant gratitude on my early days is towards my mom. She was a tiger mom, and she would wake us up Saturday, Sunday. We'd go for karate class. Saturday, after we're back from karate class, you get done and there's music class. Wednesday, there's art class. So she really helped, with her good-natured spirit, expose me to the life lessons that would be formed in the formative years. Karate teaches you a lot about discipline. It teaches you about watching your breath. It teaches you about form and beauty. Also it's conflict. So it teaches you about also like standing still when you're fighting. It also karate is an art form where you teach hard and soft, knowing when to be hard, when to be soft.
Wow.
So it's it's all these things getting ingrained as you're growing up. And so that is one, I would say, like one formative thing which I recall back and which I know has helped me a lot. And even with music, I used to hate going to music class, but now that I understand music a little bit and understand how music flows, how every rag has its own set of sur, so how every rag has its own notes, and that combination of notes, when combined perfectly, played at the perfect time, gives you a beautiful harmonious outcome. So that's a lot like life, because life gives you certain, you don't have all the 7 notes at all points in life, but you get a few notes, and then how you play those notes and in what combination you play those notes and when you play those notes is what brings out the beauty of life. So so I think these are some of the lessons. I would say music, karate, those were like my early memories of. And then she would coach me for elocution and speaking. And I think that's also another skill in today's modern world, because if you want to be a leader, you have to be able to convince people authentically that the message that is coming from your heart is what you are conveying to them. So the ability to elocute, speak, and convey from the heart is something that she also instilled in me.
Most of us, when we're kids, our parents get us to do things that we don't really want to do. But in the rearview mirror, if we follow through that process, we can see how that's formed the strength of who we are now. And you've described that beautifully across a spectrum of areas. But something specifically you mentioned about music. In my personal journey, I've had lots of ups and downs on the life's roller coaster. I guess the climax, or one of the biggest cliff points was at the beginning of COVID, and where, despite the best planning, foresight, I had my brother over in Australia who worked in mining, a medic who I still say to this day is the best doctor in the world. I love him to bits, and he's always thinking about the future and thinking about one step ahead of everybody else. He warned us about the impending pandemic. In a practical sense, we'd planned for that. But despite that best planning, life has a way of giving you what it's meant to give you. And right at the beginning, in March 2020, that virus took over my household one by one. And I saw it spread from my wife, myself, my two kids, and my parents, elderly parents who had lived with me all my life. And that battle continued day after day until my father and I ended up in hospital in an ICU ward. And I was able to let go when I got to the stage of accepting that he's not going to make it out. I came out of there with an absolute clarity, but by looking in the rearview mirror through my life, because that battle was that intense, that what was meant to be has happened. The role in life is to fight every day and be the best that you can. And I put something out at the time, that life's a series of notes, some highs, some lows, but how we choose to put those notes together is up to us. So you've described looking back at your notes in your life, your mum's support for you that you see now. They probably felt like, why is she pushing me like this? I don't want to be doing this. But it's beautiful how you see it as a harmony now. You see it shaping you, and you seem to have carried that through in everything you do. So that's beautiful, Harshil. So from there, that home environment, I read somewhere, I heard somewhere, a pivotal moment in your early school years, I think it's the Ambani school, you mentioned something about preparation you had to do before term started. You want to tell us about that and what that was about and what that did to your mind and your thinking?
So I think, firstly, the school and the vision, it's good that we are referring to the school, because there are a lot of alumni from the school, and opened in the city of Mumbai, and it was an opportunity for people to enter that school. So there was lots of people wanting to give an entrance exam. So I was one of the people who had the opportunity to give the entrance exam. I remember that for my 10th grade, the school that I was in, Green Lawns, we were on a school trip, and my mom had to take special permission from the principal saying he's going to come back one day early because he's got to write this exam. So, I was on a ferry boat to Mumbai, and came back to write this exam. I thought, there's so many people in this hall, there's no chance I'm going to get in, because there's only 60 people they accept. It was a hall filled with people. And I just enjoyed writing, and I did it. And then I got a acceptance letter. So they called us for an interview. I guess I did reasonably well at my interview, and they sent us an acceptance letter, and I was thrilled. They said, along with the acceptance letter, here are these 8 or 9 books that you have to read. It's all literature. It's literature from around the world. And read it and come. And, till then, the mode of learning for me had always been, you get the syllabus and then you go through the syllabus. And here they were training me through the summer, saying that you've got to read these 8 books and come into school. Because what you're going to do on day one is you're going to discuss what you've read. So it was new for me. And I guess people do it. So if anybody who's listening, they probably do it all the time now. But that was new for me. What it taught me is that it taught me to learn how to learn. And I think that's an important skill today, to learn how to learn. So I sat there, I went through all the books. It's different authors. We had from India, Rohinton Mistry, from New Zealand, Janet Frame, E.M. Foster from England. You had The Quiet American, I forget the author's name, American author. Variety of books that we had to read. And then I sat there reading it, making my notes, entered class prepared. So it was fun. And I could see that I was enjoying myself doing it. And then, this idea of learning how to learn is very interesting, because really that is that is what is the unique capability of us as human beings. So I had the opportunity to sit down and do a podcast with Dr. Sid Warrior. He's a neurologist, and he spoke about the fact that, as we get older, our ability to learn actually exponentially increases, because the way learning works is it works like a tree of knowledge. So you take any new knowledge and you connect it with the existing bank of knowledge, and therefore by association what happens is that you can learn faster, because you have so many connections in your mind which can teach you how to learn faster, and any new piece of knowledge that you bring in assimilates with the existing body of knowledge and then integrates into it. So that is that's the joy of life, the joy of being able to continue to learn. And in the school, when we were leaving the school, I think, I've spoken about this also, about how the award that I got at the school, which was a lifetime learner award. So it was the best, most treasured award for me.
So let's go on to your first business. I believe it was a time that you were in undergrad.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that, how that came about and where that journey took you.
Sure. So I was right out of undergrad, and as I was out of undergrad, I was seeing this opportunity with social media. I had the opportunity to work and intern at a place where I was writing 7 blog articles every day before I was going to, college. So my day job was, in the third year of college, my day job was starting at 6:30 in the morning, finish from 6:30 to 11:30, finish those 6 or 7 articles every day, pump them into the system, reach college, and then finish college, and in the evening visit the office of the website that I was writing for. And then as I was writing and I was researching, it was the birth of Facebook, it was the birth of Orkut, it was, we were post Messenger. So Mark Zuckerberg was talking about, connecting the world through communities. And I saw that this is a great opportunity for brands to live in. This was my third internship. My first internship was with an advertising agency, Japanese giant. So I learned a bit about advertising in that first internship. In the third internship, I learned about Web 2. We're now in Web 3. So I was at the cusp of Web 2. So anybody who's listening this and is at the cusp of Web 3, or is at the cusp of AI, you're at the start of a hockey stick of growth. So, you're sitting at the right place with right opportunity. And that's really where I was, right place, right opportunity. And I put 2 and 2 together, and I said that there is something in this to be able to build a service out of this. There were 3 guys who were, doing this as a summer project, calling it Foxymoron. I said, and then they were doing stuff like printing flyers and printing T-shirts. And I said, look, while that can continue, I don't think this should be the focus. Social media should be the focus, and we should really be in the business of telling top brands across the country on how they can use this medium. We should be educating them. And so I said, I will join in to this partnership, but I have a condition: we go this direction. And then we went that direction. It was good. It was good.
Hang on. So there's an established group, 3 people.
Yeah.
Who had started Foxymoron.
Yeah.
They had a view on what it was. And yet you were able to convince them to, I guess, change direction, seize the opportunity. How did you even prepare for that kind of conversation? How did you convince them?
So I always prepare to convince people. I always make a PowerPoint for myself. And I make sure I make that PowerPoint myself, and I spend good amount of time on that PowerPoint, so that I'm crystal in my head about clarity. Because when you work on something, I know it's very easy to say PowerPoint, but like there's a particular way of making the PowerPoint. So this short sentences, it's precise, it's more to do with vision, it's a lot of descriptive pictures. which give people a feeling, which give me a feeling when I'm making it. So I think that's where I try to use, rather than PowerPoint, I say I always give the story through word and picture. So it's word, picture, and sound that I will try to combine to put the story together. Sometimes it fails, sometimes it doesn't. Many times it fails. Few times it gives you clarity, and then to this point of clarity, I also think that clarity is something it's an evolution as we live. Because I think it's wrong for me to say that, oh, I always have been clear. Yes, it's a trait of mine that I can reach relative clarity in that situation faster, and it's a strength. But I've always not been very clear. So clarity is always evolving.
There was this transition between Foxymoron and Shebang. So tell us where Foxymoron had got to, and tell us about that period of your life.
So it was rather challenging period in my life, and also very, I think I'd reached a place where I was leading that company. I was running that company operationally, and I had maybe out of the 7 departments, 6 of the departments reporting to me to operationally run the company. And I was getting a bit too much for me. So I didn't know how to deal with that stress. I started to eat a lot, so I put on a lot of weight. And then somebody said, the food will taste better if you mix it with weed. So I started to try weed and smoke weed, and then yes, the pizza did taste better for the first time, and the second time, and the third, and the chocolate got more pronounced, and I could eat that half a kg of cake like this. So my troubles would go away in the moment. But here I was in a 4-way partnership, pulling the weight, what I felt at the time, pulling a lot of the weight myself. And I think I also had my weaknesses, definitely. My weaknesses were at the time that maybe I was not as good a negotiator with money. I was a bit more giving and caring as a person with respect to allowing people into the company. So, I think I had boundary issues, if I may. So I could let somebody take advantage of me, and I would let somebody into my space quite easily. And I was very trusting. So that was my weakness. My strength was that I was incredibly hardworking. I think at that time I was doing my best work, and the work was industry beating at the time. So the kind of some of the first international awards we got for Indian agencies was done on a lot of the work, and it was globally celebrated. So I felt like I was getting too stretched. I felt like I couldn't do much. I was not able to articulate or verbalize what challenges I was going through. And I was finding me muffling myself in weed and food. Food is not bad, but overstuffing yourself with food is a sign. It's a sign that there's something you're doing which is not your true purpose. So that's where I was, and then I sat down with the 3 of them. I said, look, this is not working. I think we need to reorient this. This is what I think we should do. And I think we need to do this for sure. So one of them, I remember, lifted the paper to me and said, if this is your conditions, then I don't want to do it.
Wow.
So I said, and I thought through the aspects. It wasn't really saying, look, I've read through and I think in this we can do this as a tweak. I'm always open to hear that. But it was literally saying, you put in the effort, I don't care about your
They
effort.
dismissed you outright.
So it was a dismissal. So I said, I can't do this. And, I sat down in front of my dad, and he didn't know I was going through a drug problem at the time. So, but he just asked me, are you feeling like this?
Mhm.
I said, yes, I'm feeling like this. So he said, then okay, you do what you have to. So I walked out. It was, I think in terms of being awarded, it was one of the top digital agencies in the country. It was the fastest grown. It was well celebrated in the press.
And what kind of scale are we talking? How big in terms of turnover or value?
Turnover at the time was Indian rupees about 50 crores. So that's how much is that in pounds?
50 divided by 100. So 500 million divided by 100, right?
Yeah.
Wow. And in terms of valuation?
So we had a sitting offer for 20 million pounds.
You had an offer on the table.
Yeah.
And you decided to walk away.
Yeah. So 20 million pounds is, I guess, 200 crore rupees, give or take.
Wow.
So 22 million, whatever, however you.
And you walked away?
And I walked away, yes. Because I couldn't do it.